Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcode.com, and this is video 2 of our Hopes and Dreams build. So, I figured first thing I'd do is set up the data. Okay, I wanted to set up the auth, but I realized maybe it's better I set up all my models first, seed a user with some sample data, and kind of work from there. Okay, so we're going to create some models. Okay, and then again, this build is not a express from scratch video. This is not a Mongo from scratch video. So this is assuming that you do have some background in Express and Mongo. If you don't, please do watch my Intro to Express, Intro to Mongo videos before really kind of digesting this build. Okay, so I'm going to create, again, we remember our ERD, we had two models. User, so here's going to be our user.js for our user model. So I'll just do that first. So I'm going to import const model and schema from Mongoose. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to actually require Mongoose like this. I could, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually require, like in this folder over here, let's see, where is it? DB. There's a file called connection.js. In this file, I export Mongoose, and that version of Mongoose has already been connected to the database. Okay, so the nice thing about doing it this way is that I won't have to separately import my connection to other files, because technically the models I created are created from an already connected version of Mongoose. So it's kind of all kind of links together in that form. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to go to my models, and I'm going to instead import, go up a folder, /db/connection. And that'll import what's export for that by that file, which is just the Mongoose object. We got that. Okay. I'm going to shut off my server. I don't need that running right now. Okay, so I have that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need. Nope, we're good. So first I'm going to create my schema. So we're going to say const, and actually first we want hope, because again, hope's going to be embedded in user, and generally what I'll do is I'll keep any embedded schemas in the same file as the model it is embedded in. So in this case, const hope schema equals new schema. Okay, and actually I'm just going to call this hope, because I usually call it hope schema or something like that, because I'm eventually going to make a model, and I would make a model called hope. But since I'm not going to make a model for hope because it's going to be embedded in user, I'm just going to call it hope. That works for me. So text string, and that's pretty much it. Okay, there's my hope schema. Then we'll do the user schema equals a new schema. Okay, and here what we're going to do is we're going to say every user will have a username, and this should be of type string. It should be unique. Okay, so you shouldn't be able to have the same username more than once. True. And then it should be unique. True. Required. You can't have a user without a username. Required. True. And that's good enough for me. And then I'm going to copy the same thing over for password, because the only difference is that passwords don't have to be unique, because two people could have the same passwords theoretically. So I'll get rid of unique, make this password. Okay. And then again, every username will have hopes, which is an array of hope type objects that meet the hope schema. Okay, and then I want to make sure I have timestamps on every user. So timestamps true. Okay, so there's my user schema. And then we create our model. So const user equals the model function. We'll call the model user, and that will be using the user schema. So there we go. My user model is done. The other model was dream, so let's create that while we're at it. hopes and dreams. So I'm going to copy this over just because it has a lot of the imports. And essentially all I have to do here is just change this user schema to a dream schema. Now the dream schema is going to have a text property because it's just, you know, what is your dream? And text, and then also it's going to be related to a user. So we're going to have a user property, which will be of type schema dot types dot object ID. That's the type of field. And this object ID refers to an item from the user model. Okay, and that's that. And then we have to create a model, and this model will be called a dream, because again, it's always singular. I'm not going to create the relationship in the other direction, because really we're just going to get dreams as we need them. Okay. Okay. And actually, now that I think about it, in this case, I probably want the object ID relationship on the, I do probably want it on the user. Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I'll keep it this way. You'll see what I'm going to do. Okay. User dream. I won't really be needing that populate function, I don't think, which this kind of enables. We're just going to kind of do this in a slightly different way. Dream, and this should be using the dream schema. Okay, and then I need to export that. So module.exports equals dream, which the fact that I had to write that makes me wonder if I forgot to write it in the previous file. So let's check that out. And yes, I did. I forgot to export the user. Module.exports equals user. Nice. So that is set. Now let's start building out our user auth, okay? Which we'll do in the next video. The question, just debating whether I want to cd user. Yeah, I guess I'll cd user. Let me check if I have bcrypt already. Bcrypt is the thing we need to export our encode our passwords, and bcrypt is not yet installed. So I'm going to install bcrypt. npm install bcrypt.js. So that's installed, and I'm going to go into my seed file. And the way the seed file works is just basically you write your code here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is say, hey, I want to create a new user. Const user equals, and we'll say user lowercase, because I need to import my model first. So const user, and basic models are always singular and uppercase. So const model require / models / user. That's all I really want to create. Okay. Const user, and now that user is going to equal user.create. And here's the thing, I need like a username and password. So this is where I need to bring in bcrypt, because I need to encrypt that password. Const bcrypt equals require bcrypt.js. So here we're going to create const new user. Okay, and this is just going to be an object with a username. We'll say Alex Merced. And then password. We want it to be the hashed version of the password. So we're going to say await bcrypt dot hash. Okay, because I got to hash the password, and the password is going to be cheese. Okay, and I need to salt that password, so I need to do await bcrypt. So I'm just kind of do this. I'm doing this all in one line instead of doing it over multiple lines, just for the sake of expediency. When I do it in the auth, I'll break this up a little bit better. Bcrypt gen salt, and then we'll just say 10. That should work. So the idea is that this will wait for the password hashing to finish, which will wait for the salt to finish generating, and then this will generate the password because it'll hash that password. Because again, the version that's in the database has to be hashed for all this other stuff to, you'll see when we build the auth, for it to work. Okie dokie. Now on that case, this doesn't create the user. This is just a new user object. So now I need to actually create the user, which is what I was doing down here. Which is fine if that's up there. I should probably put this context down here. Keep it between the database drop. Okie dokie. And see what this is doing is going to drop the database on every go around, so that way you don't have to empty out the database. So basically every time you seed, you're seeding it from scratch. Okay. Const user.create, and then I'm going to pass in the new user, so that way it creates a new user based on that, but we want to await that because it's an asynchronous process. Not a fan of the way that's colored. Did I forget to close something? Password, await, bcrypt hash. No, that looks all good. Okay. Just doesn't like the word. Whatever. Okay. And then I want to console log the user just to confirm that it was created. And that should do it. Okay, so technically what should happen when I run my seed file is that this object gets created with the hash password. That object gets passed to the user.create function, creating my new user. And then I console log the resulting user to confirm that it was created. So let's try this out. npm run seed. And yep, there you go. See, there's the username and the hashed password. So again, it has an empty array of hopes. So we're good. We're good. We've created our user. We've seeded some data. Yay. So now with that, I will see you all in the next video.